Hello guys and welcome to a new episode of the Football Plus F1 show. As today we're going to talk about yesterday's Champions League games, and also we're going to preview the Brazilian Grand Prix. So let's get started. Let's start with yesterday's Champions League games. Buffers beat Villarreal 1-0. Great win for Buffers, a surprising win. Yesterday there was some surprising results from the small teams against the big teams, which I'm going to talk about furthermore in the upcoming games. But a great result for Buffers. They've got one of their players who is a very experienced player called David Luiz. So yeah, but great win for Bafos. Well done. It's a team from Cyprus. So yeah, well done. Congratulations for their win. Next game, Karabakh against Chelsea, ended a 2-2 draw. Karabakh have been very good in the Champions League this season, and they showed it once again. They still compete really well. I mean, they won the first two games. They lost to Boba, but they got the lead there. And this game they could have won against Chelsea, and they got a very good point. I mean, they've been competing quite well in Champions League this season, where I thought they would get absolutely smashed every time they play. But well done, they've competed really well in Champions League. So well done to Karabakh. You have to give them a lot of credit. So yeah, but at the same time. Very poor performance. I mean, Karabakh competed quite well and they could have won the game, so well done. But for Chelsea, I mean, it's embarrassing. For you to not like well done to Karabakh. Like, with all due respect to them, they've done really well. But for a quality like Chelsea, the quality of the players that Chelsea have, you cannot like be in a position where you drew to Karabakh, or even be in a situation that you could lose to Karabakh. I mean, Estevao, Garnacho scored the goals for them for Chelsea, but defensively Chelsea once again they were all over the place, and that's what I've been saying the whole season about Chelsea, is that they're not going to compete for the title. If yes, they might be great going forward, but defensively under the goalkeeper, they need a good defense and a good goalkeeper, and they don't have that. And I have one of the defenders who's called Hato. One of my friends who's a Chelsea fan was making fun of him. He was criticizing him basically. So in a funny way, but he had a very poor performance, I thought. And Chelsea, they were defensively all over the place. They were absolutely all over the place. Going forward, they looked good, but again, like, it's not enough. So for Chelsea to be like drawing against Karabakh is not good enough. It's not good enough, and with this Chelsea team, it's difficult to predict. How they're gonna play, how they're gonna win, how they're gonna draw. Because one day they beat Liverpool at home, and then one day they lose Sunderland at home. One day they beat Tottenham away, and it was a fantastic performance from them, the way they performed in that game. And one day they drew a team from Azerbaijan, Karabakh. Like, it's a very inconsistent team. It's not a consistently good team that can win the Premier League, can win the Champions League. It's not a consistent team. So that's the problem with Chelsea, is that they're an inexperienced squad. They are an inexperienced squad with an inexperienced manager. Let's be honest. Maresca is a very good manager, but he's not. He doesn't have the experience. The likes of Guardiola, or I don't know, Guardiola or Slot even has and the top Hansi Flick. He doesn't have it, that kind of experience, and it shows it with the way they've been performing in the last couple of months, is that they lack consistency. So yeah, but yeah, it wasn't a good performance from Chelsea, and Chelsea fans were frustrated after the game, and rightly so. What this is mean, like, because this was a missed opportunity also for Chelsea, because like if you look at their games in the Champions League, they beat Ajax, they beat Benfica, they lost to Bayern Munich, alright, but this was a perfect opportunity for them to win against Karabakh, to have a better chance of qualifying for the last 8 automatically, because other than Barcelona, they've got Atalanta away, which they could win, then they've got Barcelona at home, which they should win, and then they've got Napoli away, which is a tricky game. So this was the game that they had to win, considering they've got other difficult games: Barcelona, Atalanta away, and Napoli away, and they screwed it up. So yeah, absolutely not good enough from Chelsea's side. Next game, Manchester City beat Borussia Dortmund 4-1 thanks to goals from Erling Haaland, two goals from Phil Foden, a goal from Ryan Cherki, who once again delivered for Manchester City. Yeah, City were fully in control. I mean, defensively they were strong. Alright, they conceded one shot on target and that came from a goal, but in general they were in control, they were dominant, they played really well. They could have scored more. They played very good, and it was a very good performance for Manchester City. They dominated the game. They didn't see many chances to Dortmund. Defensively they were quite good, even though they didn't keep a clean sheet. So yeah, great win for Manchester City. Well done, congratulations to them. Phil Foden, who started the season, I think early on quite good, but then he's had a bit of a run of form, a bit of a blip where he hasn't scored, assisted many. But in this game, he was fantastic. 2 goals. He was simply lively, or different gravy, as Sergio Aguero used to call him. He looked like he was back to his best. Now he just has to keep it going, keep that level of good consistency for the remainder of the season. But in this game, he showed that he can be back to his best, because we all know what Foden can do. He can score brilliant goals, he can assist, he can impact games, he can help Manchester City, he can win them like in the Premier League, when they won the title in 2024, the Premier League, where he scored some very crucial goals, especially against West Ham in the final game, where he scored an absolute screamer. So if he just needs to keep it going for the rest of the season. If he can keep it going, then he's gonna have a fantastic season for Manchester City. That's for sure. Erling Haaland scoring another one. It's no surprise. And Ryan Cherki, who scored also again for Manchester City. I mean, he's a quality player, Cherki, and start the season before Bournemouth. He didn't start many games. He didn't start like many games. However, in this game he came on. He played against Bournemouth, and I understand why he was on the bench against Dortmund, because they've got Liverpool on Sunday. So I understand why Guardiola wants to rest some players. Like, he even did it with Ruben Diaz. He put him on the bench. He did it with Bernardo Silva, which a player that he always plays on the bench as well. So Guardiola's made not a lot of rotations, but he made some changes to the lineup. But still, City, with the squad and the quality of the players they have, they were good enough to win comfortably against Borussia Dortmund. And Ryan Cherki, once again, he scored, and he's a quality player. I mean, not only he can score and assist, the talent he has, the skill, the quality, and it's amazing. It's amazing. He's a baller, as people like to say. So he's a true baller. So yeah, he did very well against Bournemouth, having those 2 assists, brilliant assists to Erling Haaland, particularly the second one, and also scoring against Borussia Dortmund. And I would like to see him start against Liverpool, to see what he can actually really do. So yeah, but great win for Manchester City. Important win, especially to take that next step to qualify for the last 16 automatically of the Champions League. Because if you look at the other games they've started in the Champions League quite well, the Champions League campaign. Because if you look at the other remaining games, they've got Bayer Leverkusen at home, which they should win. Then they've got Galatasaray at home, which they should win. Bodo Glimt away, which they should win. The only game maybe they will drop points, or maybe they will drop points, is Real Madrid away, of course. So, but City, if you look at the remaining fixtures and how they started in the Champions League campaign, they're in a very good position to qualify for the last 16 automatically. Let's move on to the other game. Newcastle United with a huge win over Athletic Bilbao. 2-0 win thanks to goals from Dan Burn and Joe Linton. I mean, it's difficult to predict with this Newcastle team, because they've been very inconsistent. I mean, domestically, in the Premier League, they've not been that great. Whereas in other competitions, the Carabao Cup and Champions League, they've been brilliant. I don't know why, but Newcastle, very important win for them, especially. They beat Benfica, they beat Union Saint-Gilloise, they lost to Barcelona, but this was another game that they won, so well done to Newcastle. And I thought they were very good. Fantastic. The crowd, obviously, as usual for Newcastle, were very good. I thought Athletic Bilbao had some chances to score, but they didn't take it. But when Newcastle had chances, they took it. So I think Athletic Bilbao maybe you could say that maybe the should have got something from the game, but if you don't take your chances, especially in this kind of level of the Champions League, you get punished. So yeah, but very important win for Newcastle. 2-0 clean sheet, and they move on, and they and that's another win for them in Champions League. So well done. Ajax, Galatasaray Galatasaray beat Ajax 3-0. Great result for Galatasaray. Bayer Leverkusen beat Benfica 1-0. Inter Milan beat Cairo 2-1. Atalanta beat Marseille 1-0. Club Brugge against Barcelona 3-3 draw, and that could have been it was an upset, but it could have been a true upset, because Club Brugge, for most of the game, they were winning. They took the lead from Nicolo Trosoldi, and then they go from Ferran Torres, and then they took the lead again at Club Brugge in the 70th minute. They were winning 2-1, and then the second half came in, 61st minute, Lamine Yamal, and then 2 minutes later they were leading again. It went back and forth, and they were leading, I think, in the game 3 times, something like that. So, but yeah, like Barcelona, defensively they were absolutely all over the place. I mean, credit to Club Brugge, considering they're a team. When you see usually small teams when they're playing against the big teams, because let's be honest, Club Brugge is a small team compared to Barcelona. You know, when you see the small teams play against the big teams, you usually see the small teams like sit back and play on the counter attack. But Club Brugge, they played with their risky have a goal style, but it worked. It worked. So well done to them. You have to give them lots of credit for that. And they played really well, and they kept going. They had a go, and they knew that Barcelona had problems defensively. They knew that they have a problem with that you can exploit the high line that they usually use, and they knew that, you know, many teams have done it in the past, and they've capitalized on it. So they thought like, okay, let's do it again. And Club Brugge did it really fantastically well. Barcelona and Hansi Flick, like, once again, they don't learn from their mistakes. You know, especially for the Paris Saint-Germain game, when they lost the winning goal for Paris Saint-Germain due to that high line goal. And again, another situation where they concede, again, defensively, they looked all over the place, they were conceding chances. And people say, oh, but they had 77% possession, you know, they had 23 shots, they were still dominating. Yeah, if you look at the stats, yeah, you'll say that. But if you look at it by your eyes, they were not dominating the game. They were exposed defensively, right, left, and center. Like they were more exposed than Nishquick or something like that. No, I'm joking. They're more shaky than Nishquick, as some other guy used to say. But anyway, Barcelona was so poor defensively, and you know, people. I've heard like Frankie De Jong say that they should forget about last season, how Barcelona well did it. I mean, yes, they should forget, because this is a new season. This is a season, like, this is the past. Why Barcelona fans are talking about last season? Like, this season is a different challenge. Every season is a different challenge. Every season will require different targets, different outcomes, different situations, different challenges, different, you know, types of injuries, different types of suspensions, different type of teams, different types of tactics, different everything. So why Barcelona fans are talking about last season? Yeah, they did really well, but people are forgetting they didn't win the Champions League. It's not like they had their best season ever. You know, they had a great season, but it's not like they had their best season ever, because they didn't win the Champions League, where they should have been in the final against Paris Saint-Germain. So, but this season they looked very vulnerable. Especially defensively. They look awful, and with the way they're playing in all competitions, actually, they don't look like a team that is going to win La Liga. Let's be honest. I think Real Madrid defensively are more stable than Barcelona, and in the Champions League, yeah, going forward, Barcelona fantastic, but so is Real Madrid. But defensively, I think Real Madrid are more stable than Barcelona, and Barcelona, you know, they concede goals right, left, and centre. And you look at the Champions League, they look exposed. I mean, if you want to win the Champions League, you can't concede 3 goals against Club Brugge. You can't. You know, they listed PSG, who've had lots of injuries. They beat Newcastle, but they were not at their best. They beat Olympiacos 6-1, alright, but Olympiacos were down to 10 men. I mean, it's not. And you look at the next games, they've got Chelsea away, they've got Frankfurt at home, they've got Slavia. You know, they've got 2 easy games at the end, but then they've got Frankfurt at home and Chelsea away. and if they don't do well in those 2 games, it's not guaranteed they're gonna qualify for the last 16 automatically of the Champions League. So they need to wake up. They need to wake up because defensively they've been awful. I mean, yes, they've had injuries. Yes, Barcelona have had injuries and suspensions, etc. But like, it's not hard to see that you're defensively so bad. It's not hard, and you have to. When I say